let's start fetching the data from the local JSON server that we have installed recently and apply what we have learned in data fetching using useFetch and useAsync data. So let's return to the code editor, and inside of the pages index.view will display these latest bosses. Okay, so let's grab from the use runtime config. I will grab this API base and store it in a variable API base one config dot public API base. Okay, so next let's define some variable that's using the parentheses, and here I will use await keyword because here we can easily do asynchronous calls, because inside of script setup you can do await without any problems. And then let's use fetch. Okay, as we said that useFetch can accept the URL and an optional options object, so here we need to supply the URL. And by the way, you don't need to import the useFetch explicitly as it's auto imported inside of the setup and lifecycle hooks. So here let's apply this API base, and then I will concatenate, or using, let's use this syntax instead, the interpolation, and then I will use API base and slash. Here let's check the URL. Let's inside of the .env. Okay, slash bosses. This is our resource. Okay, so the useFetch return multiple things. First, it returns the data, and we can give an alias to the data, which is bosses, and it returns us the pending status and the error. So let's use these variables for now. Okay, and then let's using this data bosses, let's iterate over the post component. All right, so let's do this v4 1 post in bosses. Okay, and let's add the key attribute key one post .id, and here our post component should accept a prop of post. Okay, so let's add it here, and then we'll apply this post prop side of the component, and let's remove these three lines. Now let's go to the post component. Here let's scroll and go to the post component here, and here our post component should accept a prop of post, so we can use a post prop to assign it in this data, to replace this data with the post that is coming dynamically from the prop. So using the define props, okay, and let's specify an object. The define props is auto imported. Let's specify an object of the props here. The prop is post. Okay, and let's specify the type, which is an object, and let's make it required. Let's assign this to const post. Okay, so let's replace this static data here with the data coming from the post prop. here let's say post title, and here let's make this colon to attribute because it will be dynamic. Let's make this, take this value from post dot id, and here let's make it post dot description, for the created by post dot author, and for the created at post dot created at, and for the read more it will be the same link as here. Okay, by the way, you have to make sure that the JSON server is already working. So let's go here. So this the JSON server is already launched for me, so you have to make sure, otherwise it will give you refused connection or not found. All right, now if we check the browser, you will see this post displaying because we have only a single post, but we can add more data so that this display. Here for the description, I think we should cut specific text from the description. So we should only display a substring of this text because maybe the description of the post is too long. So here I have used the substring function on the string to display a substring of this string from starting from offset 0 and to length 200 characters. Okay, so if we check now it seems good. Okay, now let's add more data in the db to json so we can check this. It's right here, and in the db to json let's copy this object one more time, and let's change this id, and now it's, as you see here there are 4 items, 4 post items. Okay, title, the description, the created by, and the date, and the read more. Okay, now the point I want to show here, if you are refreshing the page because you are using the composables for data fetching like use fetch or use async data, when you are refreshing the page here, this is you are making the request server side, so you didn't see this request here on the network tab on the browser dev tools. Okay, but to check this in the client side, how to check this and see this request client side? Just by navigating to any of these pages. Let's navigate to this page and let's return back. Now here you will see this request. This is the same request. This is done in server side. It's happening here client side. So this is what it means by server side and the client side. So if you have to do an action in server side, as we said in the last video, that which you use check if process dot server, but if you are doing it in the browser, if process dot browser, and you can do this request.